Quality Digest Presents. I'm Dirk Ducharme, Editor-in-Chief for Quality Digest and your host for this episode. And right now we are at Hendrick Motorsports in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you're a NASCAR fan, you recognize the Hendrick name. 14-time NASCAR Cup champions, and to date, 298 wins in NASCAR's highest and most competitive division. Their campus is huge, 140 acres, 500,000 square feet of working space, more than 600 employees, and some of the most high-tech equipment you'll find in race car building. And that's part of what we're going to talk about today with Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence, is how Hendrick is using Hexagon equipment as part of their build process. And with me right now is Brian Balch, sales engineer for Hexagon's articulating arm measurement systems. Brian, what are we doing here at Hendrick today?
Yeah, so today we're here to introduce the Quality Digest audience to our brand new sensor. It is our AS1-XL laser scanner that's compatible with both our AT960 laser tracker for both manual and automated measurement solutions, as well as our Hexagon Absolute arm, our 7-axis version for manual inspections.
Okay, great. And what are we going to be? We're going to be looking at both the arm and the laser tracker today, right?
Correct.
And how this is all interchangeable?
Yes, yeah. So the idea with this sensor is to be able to be compatible with multiple types of hardware. So it's compatible between our Absolute arms and our laser trackers for both, like I said, portable applications.
Okay, great. And we're going to be working with some of the folks here at Hendrick, right?
That's correct. Yes, okay. We're going to work with a few of the guys that use these sensors every day. So they can show you how they use them currently, and then as well as implement the new sensor.
Okay, great. And I believe first up here we have Roy Crump, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're Roy. You are the
nice to meet you.
Quality control supervisor here.
That's correct. I've been here for about 6 years. I've been supervisor for about a year now, and it's been a great pleasure to be here.
Okay. And tell me a little bit more about Hendrick and what do you do here?
So Hendrick Motorsports has been around for almost 40 years. Actually, next year is the 40th anniversary for our team. It's gonna be a big event. We're looking forward to it. It's one of the top tier teams in our sport, and it's been a huge pleasure to be here to win a lot of races with them. I mean, I've been here for 49 or 48 wins, so
wow. I
can't wait to get the last two. It'll be my 50th, and it'll be the team's 300.
Does it get boring winning all the time?
No, not really. Every time I'm sitting in front of the TV. Every time we win, I'm cheering as loud as I can. I'm running around the house happy, and every time we lose, I'm frustrated and I want to break something every time.
And how does Hexagon tie into all this?
So Hexagon's tied in with pretty much the entire build process of our car from start to finish. So when we get all the parts from NASCAR, we inspect all the parts, make sure they're good. When we get the parts back from the racetrack, we make sure they're all good. We do it from the chassis to every single control arm that's on the car, every little bolt-on bracket that we put on the car. And it goes as far as even the bodies that we hang onto the chassis. Okay. And the suspension components, we make sure we check and make sure it lines up with what we want from the sim tool.
And also I understand part of this also is verifying that the dimensions of the car meet NASCAR requirements, because that's really strict when you get, you don't just drive the car onto the track.
That's correct. It's this is probably the most stringent the series has ever been. I mean, back in the day, there was one single template that would span across the entire length of the car, and that was it. That was the only check they did. Okay. Nowadays, I mean, we have to make sure that toe is within 1/10 of a degree. We have to make sure that the body panels are within 1/10 of an inch. I mean, they're strict. There's not a lot of room to play with anymore, but we utilize the Hexagon tools to make sure we can maximize all of those tolerances.
So Roy, I had mentioned in the intro, a huge campus, 140 acres, 500,000 square feet of working space. The building we're in right now, what is it that you guys do here?
So in this building primarily, we hang the bodies on the cars. We use the scanners to validate that the bodies are where we want them to be to maximize performance. And in the next room over is where we actually we set up the race cars before they go to the racetrack, and we use the roller arms to validate that what we have on the race car is what we want for the racetrack, and it lines up with what we put into our simulation tool. Okay.
And I guess we're going to bring on another Hendrick, your Hendrick partners here to take us through this.
Yeah, I'd like to bring in Jake Davis. He's a body fabricator. He's also been here for, I think, a little bit longer than I have been.
Yes, 8 years.
And we're going to take a look at kind of one of the applications, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So what we do here in our daily routine, when we get a car, we set it up on the plate, and we use the arm to lock into the car. It has conicals to where we can take the arm anywhere we need to around the plate And once we get the conicals, we create a file, and what it does is you can lock into 3 points anywhere on the plate, and it knows where the car is at.
And I should mention that a lot of people probably don't realize this. This is really precise what they're doing.
Yes.
And actually, when we talk about a plate, this is an actual surface plate mounted into the floor, super precise, super flat, and it's calibrated, to make sure that it meets spec, so that when you're measuring your cars every time, you know you're going to get exactly what you're expecting to get. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Why don't you step us through what we're gonna do?
Yes. So today we have the AS1 on here, and what we normally do is with the old HPL, we would have to set it up. We'd have to spray the car down with, developer if it's shiny and all that. All you have to do with the AS1 is just plug it in, pretty much go. So what we do is take the arm. What we do here with the AS1.
This is the AS1.
This is the AS1.
Okay.
It allows us to get more precise scanning on what we need to do with the car. And it gets a very more detailed scan of all what we need to do.
And you have to stay about how far away, the standoff distance?
With the AS1, probably 6 inches away.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to try to keep that blue line in the box at all times.
And from what I understand, talking to the folks at Hexagon, the AS1 is actually has enough resolution that it's even will pick up the things like decals and so forth on there.
Yes,
yeah,
it's
which
very
is interesting.
detailed.
Because a lot of detail. Yeah.
Yeah, very detailed.
Okay, so Jake, this looks like what you're doing is pretty fast. But what did you used to do before you had the arm and the AS1?
So before we had the arms, we would have templates, and we'd use lasers and tape measures to give us tape measures.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, and we would try to get it as close, to where we need to fit the template.
Okay.
Now the AS1, before the AS1, it came the HPL.
Okay.
An HPL scanner, we'd have to go slow. It took a long time, probably 2 hours to scan a car. Now with the AS1, you pretty much scan a car in an hour.
Okay.
So
it's faster.
Faster, yes.
And of course, using your arm you got kind of the portability and
Yes.
stuff. Okay. Now you do have to kind of hopscotch around the car, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's very mobility. You can lock in at any point around the plate, and it recognizes where the car is, so you can move the arm anywhere around the plate.
Okay. Okay, now let's bring Brian from Hexagon back in here to tell us a little bit more about the AS1.
Yeah.
Brian, so just kind of in general, the usage and the specs and how the AS1 is typically used.
Sure. Yeah, the AS1 is kind of our general purpose scanner at this point. It does everything fairly well. So you got about a 6-inch wide laser stripe. That laser, again, it runs at 300 hertz. It can gather up to 1.2 million points per second. It's a great scanner kind of for your everyday scanning jobs. So
Okay.
picks up fine detail really well, and it's fairly quick to cover large areas. It uses an algorithm to analyze the data as you're scanning it, and it will automatically adjust the settings on the scanner for you. So basically it's a point and shoot type scanner. So there's no spray, really don't have to adjust settings. And you can just kind of pretty much scan whatever you put in front of it.
Okay, and you guys have just released a new product.
Yeah, so this is kind of the big brother to the AS1. This is the AS1-XL,
Okay.
where this scanner is kind of a general purpose, does everything really well. This scanner is really meant to scan large areas very quickly and efficiently. Has a lot of the same specs as the AS1, so the same frame rate, so it runs at 300 hertz, up to 1.2 million points per second, but now instead of a 6-inch wide laser stripe, we're more of like a 24-inch wide laser stripe, so you can move quite a bit quicker.
Bigger. Right,
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and show me how it swaps out.
Yeah, so these scanners are hot swappable, so it means you can switch them out without having to power off the system. The software automatically recognizes basically which sensor is in there. So now we'll put the AS1 on, or AS1-XL rather, and that quickly, you've now just changed from a 6-inch wide laser to a 24-inch wide laser.
And now you're going to scan the car with this next one here.
All right.
Okay, well already I can see that you're
Yes.
way further
Way
back
further
than you were
back
before.
than 6 inches, that's for sure.
Yeah, the standoff on AS1-XL is roughly 700 millimeters, plus or minus 300. So you have quite a bit of standoff, plus quite a bit of range, you know, to make sure you're optimizing where that scanner is in the field of view.
So, and I also noticed you seem to be moving pretty fast too.
Oh yeah, this is a lot faster than
Yeah.
the AS1.
I mean, you've already scanned like half this side of the car.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. The coverage on it is amazing.
So about how long would it have taken you with the AS1, yeah, the other one, the AS1,
Yeah, the AS1,
let's say to scan
from
the
start,
side of the car?
Yeah, from start to finish, complete car, probably 1 hour. With the XL, you could probably scan a full car in 15 minutes.
Right. And part of that is because, like, from what I'm seeing here, you can probably reach almost to the rear of the car with the arm at this end, at the front end.
Oh,
right?
exactly. Yes, you got a lot more range too, especially with the wider beam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, see, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
see how far down you can get while still staying within
I can
range.
get to probably half the door.
Half the door. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is our 4.5 meter arm. It's our largest arm that we currently make.
Okay.
And that the AS1-XL's extra standoff can expand that volume even further.
And the standoff distance, on this one is how far?
It's 700 millimeters, plus or
Okay.
minus 300. So you have quite a large window
Yeah.
to stay in. So yeah, you're standing off quite a distance.
And so I understand that another feature of this is that it's multi-hardware compatible. What does
That's
that mean?
correct.
Yeah.
So basically, on current portable metrology systems that we've had, the sensors, you can swap them out between touch probing, laser scanning on the actual device itself. The AS1 was the first sensor that we could then share between an arm and a tracker. Now the AS1-XL is the next rendition of that. So we can hot swap these sensors not only between each other on the same device, but we can actually hot swap them between devices as well.
So you could take the same sensor. You could literally, if you had only one, you could take
Yes.
it off of, let's say, the arm, and then move it over to a tracker.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And I guess we happen to have a tracker over there.
Yep, we have a 960
How
right here.
convenient. Okay,
Yeah.
well, show me how that works.
Sure. So I'll just hand this one off. And just like we did to switch the sensors, all we do is just pull down on the lever, slide this scanner off,
Okay.
and take it over to our laser tracker.
Tracker over here. Okay. And who do we have here?
So this is Logan Duncan.
Hi, Dirk.
Hey, Logan.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, he is one of our technical sales specialists with our laser tracker product line. So he's going to take you through scanning with the laser tracker.
Okay, so you just, easy as that, as you just
Easy
took
as
it
that.
right off the arm, put it onto the tracker.
Yep. Yeah, same connection, so it's easy to just swap from one device to the next.
Okay, and what are we going to do now?
So we're going to take a look at the AT960. We're going to scan, actually continue the same scan that we were working on the arm, and we're going to continue to scan the hood and the front bumper to see that we can use the same sensor, same ability
Okay.
in our next.
And we've got, I see we've got your software. What's the name of the software?
Inspire.
Okay, so you've got the Inspire software over there, and I see on there is already the mesh for the scan that the arm did on the side of the car.
Correct.
So now we're going to, without making any changes, Inspire's still running.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't reloaded a new model or anything. You're just going to pick up scanning from where you left off.
Correct.
Using a different piece of hardware.
That's right.
Okay, and everything's going to line up.
Yep. You got it.
I asked that question because obviously he's going to say, no, they're not really going to.
Yeah, these pieces of hardware, you can't always do one job with
Right.
one tool. Sometimes you need a different type of tool to finish the job that you're
Right.
doing. So the idea with the sensors is to be able to share one sensor between the carrier for that sensor. So
Yeah.
either the Absolute arm or the AT960.
So I
laser
guess
tracker.
the advantage here is that sometimes you need more than one tool to do a scan, and just to be able to swap like this right away means that you don't have to do anything special. You simply literally pick up a different tool.
Correct.
And pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And with all that compatibility, we have the ability to use the arms, the Absolute trackers, our grid lock systems, and the accessories for the arms and the trackers,
Right.
even our photogrammetry systems and everything else to
Yeah.
be able to access whatever type of measurement we really need to get to.
Okay, let's take a look.
All right. So as you can see, the refresh rate just as high as it was on the arm. We can pull data on large surfaces extremely quickly.
Yeah, this is the thing that's really amazing. I mean, compared to the AS1, is you're just like hardly paying attention to what you're doing. It seems like you're just like, yeah, I'll just scan this thing.
Yeah. Biggest focus is just to make sure that I'm around that right range, but I've got plus or minus a foot, so I've got a lot of room to work with.
And I'm looking at the Inspire screen over there, and it's just like populating with data just immediately.
And that is one of the strongest parts of Inspire, is that it's a fairly simple software, and it has the ability to work very quickly with portable pieces of hardware.
Okay, and this is, I mean, I can't see it right now because the screen's expanded out, but this is meshing with the data that we already took from the side using the arm.
Correct,
okay.
And it will follow where I'm at. So if I come over here to the side and lock on, we can actually see some of that data that we pulled from the arm wrapping around the corner there.
Okay. Yep. So you mentioned that Inspire is simple software. Can you just talk a little bit more about Inspire and how easy it is to use, maybe some of the features on it?
Absolutely. So Inspire is a software developed from the same group that made Spatial Analyzer.
Okay.
It has a lot of the same functions as SA, as many in the industry are familiar with. So it has things like the USMN for movement around our parts and everything else, but it has a more simplistic user interface. So it allows people who are less familiar with metrology software to enter into that type of measurement and to be able to get the measurements they're looking for.
Okay, and it is, I think as you mentioned, it is also really fast.
It is, it's very, very fast. It's specialized for portable software, or portable hardware, excuse me. So the ability for it to lock into the arm or the tracker and handle point clouds and meshes is very strong.
And you're just running it on a laptop over there too, so I'm used to in the back, a lot of times you guys, in the past, a lot of times you guys had kind of a desktop or a tower, and basically just a fairly robust laptop, I would assume, but still a laptop.
Yes, it is a fairly robust laptop, but we don't need to walk around with a big rig for a computer or anything like that anymore. We have the ability to use a very portable solution.
And the tracker itself, battery powered. I see you have a cable here. I understand there's also it's an Ethernet connection from the tracker to the laptop for the data?
Correct. Okay. Yeah, we have an Ethernet connection running from the tracker to the laptop to convey all of the data points back to the machine. In automation applications, there are some circumstances where we can get rid of the cable, but there's enough data throughput with it set up currently that we need that amount of connection.
Right, exactly, yeah. So you mentioned automation. I'm assuming you mean something like mounting the sensor to a robot, something like that?
Correct. Yeah, we have circumstances where we can add the sensor, either the AS1 or the AS1-XL, to a robot and track it with the 960 so that we can perform automation services as well.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that a little bit more. What's the advantage of that kind of integration?
So it's the ability to measure large volume parts in large volume circumstances if I'm measuring many parts back to back to back, and have some of that repeatability. So I'm measuring the same part the same way back to back to back, and I can get a lot of data throughput, so we could use it in a assembly line type circumstance.
So you might have something like a door panel or something on an assembly line, and a robot door panel comes in and the robot does the same operation every time. It just goes through and scans the same part every time. It's fixtured. It's always going to be in the same spot.
Correct. Okay. And one of the main benefits of the tracker is we can size up from that 4.5 meter restriction with the arm and reach up to 60 meters. So we have the ability to measure not just large parts, but entire assemblies of parts.
Okay, Logan, thanks for showing us the AS1-XL on the tracker and the Inspire software as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jerry.
Okay, thanks. And we can get Brian and Roy back up here. Okay, great. Hey, guys. Roy, so we've seen kind of the amazing things that you're doing with Hexagon equipment right now, particularly the arm. I know that's what you guys use a lot. Where do you see Hendrick going with this type of technology in the future?
So honestly, it's the more technology that they can provide that makes the body build process faster, more accurate, more repeatable, just more reliable in general, I mean, that's what we're looking for. And the relationship we've had with them in the years past, I mean, it's crazy how quickly they're developing new tools that help us be faster, help us be better, and be able to provide a better product that we have a lot of confidence in than when we take it to the racetrack.
Well, I was going to say, if you could expand on that a little bit more. So you guys have been working with Hexagon for quite a while. I see a lot of Hexagon gear around here, a lot of arms, a whole lot of arms. What is the value, besides obviously good equipment, what is the value of working with somebody like Hexagon? What kind of partner are they?
I mean, they're a fantastic partner. I mean, they're helping us be faster on the racetrack, honestly. It's being able to quickly analyze all of the parts that we measure lets us know that what we're putting on the race car is better. We know what's better. We know what we can put on a car that just lets us be faster and win more races. And that's the partner they are for us. And you know, they're always super receptive to helping us out. They're always super fast in responding with any kind of help we ever need. Honestly, it's a great relationship.
Okay. And Brian, I mean, for Hexagon, I mean, obviously you love selling equipment, and I see a lot of equipment here. So, but besides that, what's the value of partnering with somebody like Hendrick?
Yeah, Hendrick Motorsports, the name is synonymous with NASCAR, so they're very well known. So when a top tier team utilizes your equipment, they help you push it to the limit of what it can do. They're always looking for ways, like he said, to get faster, you know, to be more efficient with their data, so they can be faster and more efficient on the racetrack.
And do you get information from, let's say, the folks at Hendrick saying, you know, it'd be great if there was this feature or that feature that helps you kind of like
all the time.
Roy and I talk probably weekly about things that they're like, hey, can it do this? Can we do that? You know, and our product line is very receptive to the feedback that we get from our customers, especially customers and partners like Hendrick, who we're very grateful for. You know, they let us come in here today, which we very much appreciate.
And so you're able to take some of that feedback, and that comes into consideration for upgrading products, or maybe even new products, that sort of thing.
That's correct. A really good example of that was they had a request of, can we keep the arm a little bit more stable as we're moving it around the shop? We passed that feedback on to our product line. They developed the home dock position that helps keep the scanner and the probe safe while you're moving the arm around the facility.
Okay, excellent. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Roy, thanks for your time. Jake as well. Logan, Brian, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Roy,
thanks for stopping by.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
And that is it for this episode of Quality Digest Presents. If you have any questions about this episode, or any ideas for topics you'd like to see us cover in the future, just email us at qdl@qualitydigest.com, and we will get right back to you. Thanks for joining us.